Good morning. Today in New York City is the famous New York City Marathon, and over 30,000 runners participate from all countries around the world. But what many people don't know is that before the marathon began this morning, there was a huge minyan that takes place in one of the tents. And over 200 runners in their running gear with their running shorts and their pinned numbers for the race on them, they put on their talis and tefillin and they daven. And one of the highlights of the service is that there's a blessing that says, "Blessed are you, God, who gives strength to the weary." Hanoten layev koach. And all of the runners shouted out loud together before they take off on this race. In this week's parsha, Jacob is on the run. He's on the run from his brother Esav, who wants to kill him, to take revenge for having taken the blessings from his father Isaac. And of course, Jacob flees to the house of his uncle, where he eventually marries his wives and establishes his beautiful family. But the very first verse says, Jacob left Beersheba and he went to Haran. And Rashi asks the obvious question, why does it have to say he left Beersheba to go to Haran? If I say I went to New York, I don't have to say I left Palm Beach. It's obvious if I went to New York, I had to leave Palm Beach to get to New York. It could have just said in the verse that Jacob went to Haran. Why does it say he left Beersheba and he went to Haran? And Rashi says beautifully that the Torah is teaching us the following. You know, they say that there are some people who bring joy wherever they go and others whenever they go. We always want to be the person who brings joy wherever they go, that our presence has a positive impact on others. And that's what the verse is saying. That when Jacob left Beersheba, everyone felt his absence. His presence was missed. Why? Because a righteous person is a blessing for his community. A righteous person is, as Rashi says, the beauty, the shine, the radiance, the splendor of the community. And therefore everyone felt when Jacob left. And therefore the Torah is emphasizing that he left Beersheba. We know that the words and the deeds of righteous people could have a tremendous influence and a tremendous impact. What the Torah is teaching us is, like Jacob, we should ask ourselves, how is my presence felt by others? Am I a positive source of goodness in the lives of others? I heard a story just yesterday from Rabbi Rice that there was a boy from Bnei Brak, a religious boy, who went off the Jewish path, became non-religious, moved to Tel Aviv. And one Shabbat he went home to be with his family. And in the afternoon, he was not keeping Shabbat with his family. His father said to him, would you like to come to me? There's a class in the afternoon by Rabbi Scheiner, a famous rabbi in Bnei Brak. And he was surprised when his son, who was not religious, a young man, said, yeah, I would like to go. He went to the class, participated in the class, and afterwards he went up to the rabbi. He spoke to the rabbi for a little bit, a very warm conversation. And then he left the class, and ever since that class, the boy started to come back to his Jewish observance and family and ultimately returned to Judaism. And his father asked him, what was it about that class? And why did you even agree to go to the class? I just asked you to go. I didn't dream you would say yes. And the boy said, because when you said it was Rabbi Steinman, I said I want to go. He said, why? He said, when I was in 4th grade, Rabbi Steinman came to our yeshiva to test all the boys. And I was already not a good kid. I wasn't learning. I wasn't participating in the classes. And Rabbi Steinman asked each kid questions. And every time the kid got an answer to the question correctly, Rabbi Steinman would give that student a candy. And then Rabbi Steinman said to me, he asked me a question. And of course, I didn't know the answer. So he asked me an easier question to try to give me a second chance. Again, I couldn't answer it. He asked me a third question. Again, I couldn't answer it. And at that point, Rabbi Steinman took out 3 candies and gave me 3 candies. And I said, why are you giving me 3 candies? I got all the answers wrong. Rabbi Steinman smiled at me and he said, I'll tell you why. Because Torah study is not about how much you know or how much you accomplish. It's about how much effort you put in. And since I made you put 3 times as much effort in than the other students, because you had to think and try to come up with the answer on 3 different occasions, I'm rewarding you for your effort, and therefore I'm giving you 3 candies. He said, I'll never forget that kindness of the rabbi. I was so embarrassed, but here he made me feel special. And he showed me this love by giving me 3 candies, not 1 like every other student got. And praising me for my effort to try to even attempt to come up with the right answer. He said, when you told me Reb Steinman was giving the class, I decided to go. And that class brought me back to those memories and transformed my life and brought me back to my Jewish path. The thoughts, the actions, the deeds, the words of a righteous person can have an everlasting impact. When Jacob left Beersheba. His presence was missed. Every person has to be like Jacob. We have to make sure that our lives, our day-to-day deeds and actions are touching and inspiring the lives of others in a positive way. Have a beautiful day.